Alright guys, what's going on? It's Shram here and welcome back to another video I got for you guys today. Today I am bringing you my 1000 subscriber special video thing. This is of course a Q&A. I had you guys ask me questions on my Madden 18 Los Angeles Rams rebuild, so I'm going to be answering those, but I want to, say some thanks first because this is my 1000 subscriber video, so obviously thank you guys so much for 1000 subscribers. That's so cool. I knew my channel was going to get here eventually, but it happened so quickly because of Bangle, obviously. So much thanks still goes to Bangle. This really wouldn't have been able to happen without him giving me a shout out, that really generous shout out. Thank you so much for that, man. I don't know if you're watching this, but also I should mention that I've gotten a bunch of comments, one on this video and then a couple on some past videos, that I should do a speed rebuild battle against Bangle. I would love to do that, man, if you're watching and you're down, hit me up or something. I would totally be down to record one of those with you. But if you're not watching this, I understand, whatever. But maybe I'll try to DM you in the future and ask if you actually want to do a speed rebuild, because that would actually be really fun. I would love to do one of those. I think it would be a good time. Obviously it would help me grow more. It wouldn't really help him grow at all, which kind of sucks. I feel sort of bad for that, but it would just be really fun to actually record a speed rebuild against him, because I've watched those a bunch and I've always wanted to know if I could beat him in one, and maybe I can, probably not. He's the rebuild god, of course, you guys know that, rebuild king. Anyway though, I think I'll address the gameplay. I'm not really sure what the gameplay is going to be behind this. It might be like some Madden gameplay. I think what I'll probably end up doing is putting this one game, I'm the Bears, my friend is the Lions, and we have this connected franchise going. It's just a random fantasy franchise. I'm not going to upload the franchise or anything, it's just for fun. But I'll probably put that because I'm playing against him in this game. It's pretty interesting. I don't know, I played that last night and I figured it might be decent to put behind this video. Also, really quickly, sorry this intro is taking so long, but also really quickly, I got a lot of questions. Thank you guys. I got like 50-something questions. That's a lot. So if I'm not able to answer all of these in this video, what I'll probably end up doing is just going back and actually commenting a response to the ones that I didn't answer, because I don't think I'll get a chance to address all of these. I don't want this video to be like an hour long. This video will probably be, I'm trying to aim for like 20 minutes. So I'll try to answer the ones that I think are the best sort of questions, and then I'll answer the rest just in comments and stuff like that. But anyway, let's start off strong with the top question here. Alex the Sniper 19 asks, what state are you from? Well, my favorite football team is the Philadelphia Eagles, and they're from Pennsylvania. So there's the answer to that question. Okay, hold on. Yenzidclaw. I can't read that. Yenzidclaw 2904 asks, who's your favorite active and of all time NFL player? Okay, so in my YouTube banner, this answer is both in my YouTube banner, both of these answers. My favorite active player is in my banner, and that's Malcolm Jenkins. He's my favorite active player right now, of course on the Eagles. I guess I can explain why I like him so much. I don't know, I thought that once the Eagles got him, I feel like he was just really underrated, and nobody actually gave him the props that they did. Like, I've always thought he's been such a good free safety. I didn't watch much of him when he was on the Saints, because I think he got drafted as a corner, and I think he switched to free safety while on the Saints, and then he moved over to the Eagles. And I've just thought he's been so consistent. He's been so good. He's gotten over 100 tackles. I feel like most of the years he's been on the Eagles, he has at least like 2 picks a year or so. He's a really good player. He can hit like a linebacker, like he tackles as if he's a linebacker. He still has like the cornerback coverage ability because he was drafted as a corner, and he also has the speed and the power of like a safety. So I think he's just a very well-rounded player. He's my favorite player right now, and my all-time favorite player is Brian Dawkins, probably one of the best safety to ever play for the Eagles. I could pretty confidently say that. The man was an absolute beast. Had probably the highest hit power ever. That's not true, but he can hit super hard. I always remember that clip of him hitting Algie Crumpler in the playoff game. I think it was the NFC Championship game. He just laid him out, and Crumpler's a big man. And Brian Dawkins, I think I feel like he's kind of small. I mean, I want to say he's like 6. He's definitely not small. He's over 6 feet tall, and he's probably like 230. That's completely I just pulled that out of nowhere. He's not that small, but he's much smaller than Algie Crumpler because Crumpler's a tight end. So there we go. That answers that question. A couple of people asked questions similar to that, so I answered a couple on that one. So there you go. Jackson Thibault asks, what got you into making videos on YouTube? So what got me into making videos? A couple of people asked this too. So I don't think any of you guys know this really, maybe a couple of my long-term subscribers, but I used to upload like 3 years ago, I want to say, when Call of Duty Advanced Warfare was popular. Actually, Ghosts. It started with Ghosts. So when Ghost came out, I think a little while after that, I bought a Roxio normal, like not even, okay, if you don't know what a Roxio is, it's like a type of capture card. The normal Roxio is kind of like a Dazzle, so it was really bad quality, and I still have videos from my channel with the Roxio, which is kind of funny. And my commentary volume was horrible. I mean, not volume, my commentary quality was horrible because I just used my computer microphone and it picked up everything, and it picked up my fan. It was really bad. You guys can go watch those if you want to laugh. They're very old videos. And then after that, I got a Roxio HD. So this is just a quick YouTube journey kind of thing. But then I got a Roxio HD, which made the quality a little better. My mic quality still was horrible, and I just was still playing Call of Duty. And then as of like last year, I got an Elgato, and I have my blue snowball microphone, so it makes it a little better with this pop filter. But what got me actually into making videos is that I was really big into trick shotting in Modern Warfare 2 and sniping. I was huge into sniping. That's all I did in Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 3. I was a huge sniper. I was a huge FaZe fanboy back when that came out. You know, I still watch Jev. I think Jev's the only FaZe member I actually still watch because he's like the best one by far out of any of them. So I still watch him. I still appreciate a good Call of Duty like sniping montage and stuff like that. I still like making montages, but pretty much just watching people who make montages. And Hutch, OMG, it's Hutch. I think that was his gamer tag or his YouTube channel. No, it's like Sean something, isn't it? Sean2907. I think he still makes videos now and stuff. But I watched him. He was my favorite YouTuber. I think he's like at the top list of my favorite YouTubers. I don't watch him much anymore, but I watched him all the time in Modern Warfare 2, and that he really actually got me into want to making commentaries and stuff like that. So that's the main reason why I got into YouTube from the Call of Duty side. And then the Madden side just kind of, I didn't really get inspired by anybody. I just liked playing Ultimate Team. And then, you know, I made Ultimate Team videos. And obviously rebuilds, yeah, I got inspired by Bangle and Jerome because those were the more popular rebuilding guys at the time. So I decided to do some on my own just for fun. And I realized I wasn't horrible at it, and I was actually having like pretty decent seasons and was able to draft alright, so I decided to make a video. My first rebuild was on the Eagles. It was horrible mic quality because it was before I got this mic, and then my rebuilds kind of just got way more views than anything else. So that was kind of that spiel about how I got into YouTube. Sean Jordan, in the next question here, he asks, who do you think will win MVP? I was kind of hoping somebody would ask this because I wanted to give my thoughts about MVP. So, who I think will win MVP? It's not Tom Brady. And it's not, this might surprise you, it's not Carson Wentz. I'm sure a lot of you guys thought I was going to say Carson Wentz since I'm an Eagles fan, but no, I don't think he should win MVP. I don't think Tom Brady should win MVP. I think Russell Wilson should win MVP. And the reason behind this is because, obviously I can't actually say this, like this isn't empirical, we're never going to be able to figure this out, but I feel as though if Russell Wilson was not on the Seahawks, like let's just say their backup was starting, I really don't think they would win a game. They may have 1 or 2 wins, maybe, and that's like pushing it. Maybe against like the 49ers or something, even though that game was close actually. But Russell Wilson started off very slowly, and then he just kicked it up a notch entirely, and is able to make his team actually a playoff contender. I think he is actually the definition of MVP for that team, because if he was not on that team, they would be doing so badly. I know I saw a stat at one point, this is probably different now, I think this was a couple weeks ago. He had like 26 of the team's 28 touchdowns or something like that, or like 26 to 20. He had like 80, no, I think it was like 26 to 28 or 26 to 29. It was insane. He was their leading rusher in yards and touchdowns. Obviously, he was their leading passer. He wasn't their leading receiver, but he like led in most categories on offense, which is ridiculous. He just does so much for that team. He has like half a second. Like, once he takes the ball from the center, he has like half a second to make a pass, like a read, or he's going to get sacked because their O-line is so bad. And he is phenomenal at keeping the play alive. He is probably, him and Aaron Rodgers are the two best quarterbacks at that. Carson Wentz is getting really good at it too, but I think these guys have been doing it for long enough so I can put him above Carson Wentz. So yeah, he is phenomenal at keeping the play alive. I don't know how he doesn't take sacks. A lot of the times he does not get sacked when he's running around in the back of the field making people miss. Most of the time he throws it away, or he finds an open receiver somehow. I don't know how he does it. He throws absolute dimes on the run. He probably has the best accuracy on the run. Maybe him and Aaron Rodgers again are like close for that one. But yeah, I think Russell Wilson should win MVP. I don't think Tom Brady should. I don't think Carson Wentz should. I can understand if they have well, Carson Wentz not anymore since he's not playing, but I can see Tom Brady winning it, and I can understand why he would win it. This question is from John H. now, who has McLovin as his picture. Hopefully I remember to put all these questions on the screen. I really hope I can remember to do that. Who do you think will win Offensive Rookie of the Year and Defensive Rookie of the Year? I was really hoping somebody would ask me this as well because I wanted to say my opinions on it. So I'm going to do kind of what Madden does and break this up into the different conferences. So NFC, I'll start with that. NFC Offensive Rookie of the Year. I really don't think this is a competition. I think Alvin Kamara deserves this more than any other rookie. I can't think of any right now who I think should win it more than Alvin Kamara. Dude is an absolute animal, and he's like I know he's getting a lot of touches, but he's like the backup running back, and he's putting up like 100 yards from scrimmage almost every single game. He is an absolute animal. I picked him up in fantasy too, which makes him even that much better because he gets me like 25 points every week, aside from last week when he got hurt. But he is amazing. Absolutely. Just absolutely phenomenal. He's so good. The Saints drafted him. The Saints drafted really well this year, but they drafted him. I don't know what round it was in, but he's a great player. I think he's going to be very good for the team for a very long time. He is insane at breaking tackles. He has such big playability. He's a good receiver. He's just pretty much the complete package, honestly, at running back. Him and Mark Ingram make probably one of the best running back duos in the NFL. And now, for Defensive Rookie of the Year for the NFC, I'm just going to flip the side of the ball and stay on the same team and say Marshawn Lattimore for this one. I think, according to Pro Football Focus, I'm pretty sure he's like top 5 in opponent QBR rating when thrown at him, and he's a rookie. That's not just out of rookies he's top 5. No, just top 5 out of any cornerback. So you throw Chris Harris and Patrick Peterson and Casey Hayward all in that mix, and he's still like top 5. That's insane. He is such a good cornerback. I think he went to Ohio State. Pretty sure he was the Saints' first-round pick. I'm pretty sure that's true. But he is having an insane season, almost truly a lockdown corner. I think against Julio, I think Julio did decently against him, but I'm pretty sure Lattimore got a pick, I think, this past game, and covering Julio is not something you want to do. So yeah, I think he should be Defensive Rookie of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year for the NFC or for the AFC, I think Deshaun Watson would be leading this if he were still playing. I can just say that now because Kareem Hunt kind of ran away with it in the beginning, but then he kind of simmered down a little bit through the midseason. But I can't really think of many other AFC offensive rookies that are standing out that much. I mean, Juju Smith-Schuster is having a really good season now, but he hasn't had like a complete season because they didn't give him the chances earlier on. I can't really think of many other players in the AFC who I think should deserve this offensive rookie of the year thing. So I'm going to go with Kareem Hunt, even though he's simmered down a lot. I think he started off super strong. He had a good game last week against the Raiders. I think he can still pull away with this award. And then defensive rookie of the year for the AFC, I think TJ Watt's having a decent season, but I'm not going with him. What's his name? Carl Lawson for the Bengals, I think he's having a good year, but I think Tre'Davious White should get this. I know I'm being really boring with the defensive rookie of the year is going with cornerbacks, but Tre'Davious White is having he's having like a Marshawn Lattimore-like season. He's an insane corner. He's playing extremely, extremely well, so I can definitely see him getting this award here. So there we go. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Sorry if you guys disagree with me for some of these picks, because a lot of these are sports-related. So yeah, sorry if you disagree with me. Let's look for some more questions here. Who is the easiest 90-plus guy to trade for, and how do you? That was from DBR Productions. So the easiest 90-plus overall guy I can think of is, well, I don't know if you're, okay, I'll say an offensive lineman, and I'll try to say some other players too, because David DeCastro is extremely easy to trade for. In this Rams rebuild, I traded for him for like 370 overall players. And Rodney Hudson kind of falls in that boat too, and they're both really, really good. Rodney Hudson moves to tackle really well, and so does DeCastro. Pretty much any offensive lineman, except for Zach Martin and Travis Frederick, actually have trade value this year, which is nice to see. But yeah, I would go with David DeCastro because he's like a 97, 98. He's a top-tier guard, and he is super easy to trade for. Now, as for somebody who isn't a guard or an offensive lineman, I would say... Oh, this is actually a tough one. So... if you're saying first season players are a lot harder to trade for. So just, right when you start up first season, Keenan Allen is rather easy to trade for being as good as he is. I think he's like a 91. Allen Robinson is around his boat as well, but I think Keenan Allen is a sliver easier to trade for. I'm not sure if this guy is a 90 or not, but Amari Cooper is also really easy to trade for. I would advise getting him. A lot of these guys are wide receivers, I just noticed that, but like a lot of the other positions are hard to get. I mean, halfbacks are easy to trade for too, so it's like, I don't think there's any one guy that is easier than everybody else other than offensive linemen, but like Keenan Allen are nice guys to trade for. Usually all you have to do for that one is give them like, I guess this is kind of a big value, but for these guys that I'm saying, like Keenan Allen, for Allen Robinson, for Jarvis Landry probably falls in this boat too, you can probably give the team 2 players that have green interest, you know what I mean, like, the 2 players that the team has green interest in, and like a 4th or a 3rd rounder. You can probably fluctuate between those with some teams. That'll probably get that trade done, because he asked me how I do that. That's how I would go about doing it. I'm not sure if that's going to work, but that's just, that's how I would go about doing it. Maximilian, he asked me a bunch of questions. So Maximilian Wedland asked, how old are you, and why did you start making YouTube videos? I already touched on the YouTube videos part, so I'm not going to answer this one, but how old am I? I'm 20 years old. I don't know why I had to think about that for a second. I forgot what year we're in. I don't know. I'm 20 years old. My least favorite NFL team. This is from Lawan James. Okay. My least favorite NFL team. It's actually two. I honestly can't choose between these two. But I'm an Eagles fan, so you can probably figure out one of them at least. It's not the Giants. You know, I don't like the Giants, but they're not my least favorite team. I really just despise the Cowboys with so much. So that team is tied with the Patriots for me for my least favorite teams. I think it's just because for the Patriots one, honestly, most of it I think is just because they beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl, and I'm still salty about that. You know, the Eagles had a chance and they lost. But yeah, the Patriots, I don't like them. I don't know. I'm just tired of seeing them win. It's just one of those situations. Like, I don't hate Patriots fans. I don't hate Cowboys fans. I just don't like those teams. It's just like, I mean, it's kind of hypocritical for me to say that I don't like them winning because I'm a Yankees fan and they've won the most World Series by a long shot. But yeah, I don't like the Patriots. I don't like the Cowboys. Pretty much, if I'm watching them, I'm rooting against the other team. I'm rooting for the other team, I mean. So it's just one of those situations, you know. Some random child, AALT, asked me. He comments on my channel a lot too, but he asked me, if the Eagles didn't exist, who would be your favorite NFL team? Well, that's a good question. I like that question a lot. So who would be my favorite NFL team? So I'm going to go with a logical answer here quickly. So my dad is a Jets fan. I've said that before. So I feel like it might be the Jets, because the reason why I'm an Eagles fan is because my mom is an Eagles fan, and I watched a lot of football with her. So my dad is a Jets fan. I probably would have ended up watching Jets football. So I could say the Jets. That would be a good guess. Or it could also, I feel like, just as easily be the Steelers, because they're also in Pennsylvania. So it's like, that's a tough decision, because my brother is a Seahawks fan too, so I could have just went with him. So there's three teams I could say would be that. But if I'm actually thinking about like who my second favorite team is, I've kind of had a spot for the Raiders for a while. I don't know. I've always just wanted to see them do well. Right now, if I had to switch to like a second team, I would just probably start rooting for the Raiders if I had to guess. But if I'm actually talking about from a while ago when I started liking football, I feel like it would either be the Jets, the Steelers, or the Seahawks. Who, in your opinion, is the best wide receiver right now? That's from Magnus Einerson. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Who is, in your opinion, the best wide receiver right now? So this, I think there's only two, in my opinion, I think there's only two receivers you can consider to be the best, and that's Julio Jones and Antonio Brown. There's a couple other guys, there's a bunch of other guys that I think are very, very good, but I think those two are just better than the rest. I think, you know, you have Odell, you have AJ Green, you have Mike Evans, all those, like DeAndre Hopkins, you have all those guys who I think are in like a similar boat. I think Odell might be the best out of all those, or AJ Green, I think, but that's another question. But I think Julio Jones and Antonio Brown are just at a different level than those guys. I don't know, that's just my opinion. I think they're just better. But out of those two, so if I'm just going like pure skill set wise, Julio Jones is better because he is much taller, he is faster. I don't know if he's faster. He's probably just as fast. He's not as quick because Antonio Brown's a quick little elusive guy. But Julio Jones is tall, he's strong, he's a freak, he's really fast. He's probably like the fastest, tallest, strongest player. Honestly, he's like, you've never seen, like Calvin Johnson was the last time you'd see that combination of speed, size, and strength. So if just pure skill set, I would go Julio Jones because he was built to be an amazing receiver. It seems like he is so good. He is just has like, I was telling my friend Ray this earlier, that I think if Julio Jones were to run a fade and the ball, let's just say the ball was thrown like perfectly where it's supposed to be for a fade, I don't think there's a cornerback in the NFL that can stop that. That's just me. I really don't think a cornerback will be able to stop Julio Jones running a fade route. It's just too good. But Antonio Brown, if you're going off of stats like from this year and what he's done, like productivity, because Julio Jones hasn't been that productive. He had that 200-something yard game this year, which is insane. But Antonio Brown is the best if you're going off of stats because his year so far has been remarkable. Obviously, yeah, he has Big Ben, but I mean, Julio Jones has Matt Ryan. So it's really, I don't know, it really is a toss-up between those two. I personally always side with Julio whenever I'm asked who the best receiver is, but it's really, like, I could see it the other way around too. It's such a small margin. Do you think the Eagles can go to the Super Bowl without Carson Wentz? From Caleb Rondow. Just simple no. I don't think so. I really don't. Who are your top 5 cornerbacks in the NFL at the current time? That's from Jumpstart MC. Should have probably written this one down because this will take some thought. So I think the best I've thought this for the past couple of years. I don't think I have to think about this one. I think the best cornerback, that's what I'm looking for. I think the best cornerback in the NFL right now is Chris Harris. I'm not really sure what he's doing this year. I don't think you can fault the Broncos defense at all for whatever they're doing this year because their offense is just so bad. So any defense would be playing poor if they're out on the field as much as the Broncos defense is. I'm sure they're out in the field more than any other defense. I haven't looked that up, but I feel like that's a thing. But yeah, I think Chris Harris is the best cornerback in the NFL. I think he's the clear number 1. I'm probably going to piss some people off with my answers for this one. But number 2, I feel like this might be a little bit surprising. I think Casey Hayward is the number 2 rated corner. He's at least top 3. I think I can argue that he's at least top 3. I'm going to put him at number 2 because his QBR against him this season is insane. I know Josh Gordon actually caught some passes against him when they played, but Casey Hayward is insane in coverage. He had like 7 interceptions last year. He led the league in picks. I'm sure he has I'm not sure how many he has this season. I want to say like 2 or 3 because he's not getting targeted nearly as much now, and whenever he does, he just breaks up the pass. He is actually a true lockdown corner at this point in the NFL. He is so good. I think he deserves to be number 2. Number 3 and 4 I feel like are kind of similar for me. Number 3 and 4, I really can't pick between these two, but Patrick Peterson is obviously still amazing. He is a true lockdown corner, one of the truest this generation's seen in a little while with, you had Richard Sherman up there and you have Darrelle Revis up there, lockdown corners. But Patrick Peterson, I think, can be 3 or 4 because of just his ability. He's super fast. He is insane in coverage. He can shut people down whenever he wants to. He's so good. Whenever a wide receiver's lined up against him, the teams just don't look that way because there's no reason to, because they're not going to catch it. And number 4 or 3, I think, like I said, these guys are kind of the same to me, is Darius Slay. I think Darius Slay is an insane cornerback. Again, he's a true lockdown cornerback. He is very good at what he does. He just shuts down opposing receivers. I think he can be in top 5. And then for number 5, I'll give the rookie some respect. It's going to be Marshawn Lattimore because of what I said earlier about his quarterback rating. So yeah. That's my top 5 cornerbacks right now. I didn't throw Sherman on this list because he's hurt. It's just simply put that way. And there's a couple other guys like Tre'Davious White can probably get an honorable mention. I definitely missed somebody else that I wanted to mention, but I don't remember who it is. Oh, that's a good time. Anyway, those are my top 5 cornerbacks. I kind of thought of that list right now, so I'm sorry if I kind of pissed some people off with that list because I probably did. Oh, Marcus Peters. Marcus Peters could probably be on that list too. But he's definitely top 10. I think that's non-negotiable. But top 5, I don't know. That's just my opinion on the top 5. Xavier Rhodes is really solid cornerback too. He's up there. Desmond Trufant's really good. Malcolm Buckler is really good. Aqib Talib's good. Janoris Jenkins. There's a bunch of guys. But the people I mentioned, I think, are just the top 5 for me. Walter Castro asks, do you think Jarvis Landry is the best slot receiver? Okay, Jarvis Landry is an insane receiver. He's a very, very good slot receiver. But I don't think he's the best. This is honestly just preference at this point. I don't really have too much empirical evidence to back this one up. I think this guy, actually somebody commented on this, some Dolphins fan. He just said yes. I can definitely see why people think Jarvis Landry is the best receiver. I don't know why I said people think. He could be the best slot receiver, but I just personally think Doug Baldwin is. I just really like Doug Baldwin. It's pretty much just to that. I really like that he was undrafted. I think that's awesome because I like undrafted players doing really well. He is insane. He is one of the best route runners in the NFL, if not the best. Him and Stephon Diggs run the most clean routes, the cleanest routes I have ever seen. So Doug Baldwin, I think, is the best slot receiver. He has insane hands. Jarvis Landry can catch anything too. Nothing against Jarvis Landry because, you can say Doug Baldwin's had Russell Wilson to throw to him, so he's had a much better quarterback because Jarvis Landry has not had a good quarterback. I'm sorry, Ryan Tannehill isn't a good quarterback. But yeah, Jarvis Landry is a very, very, very good slot receiver. I can't stress that enough. I'm not trying to downplay the fact that he's there, but I think Doug Baldwin is just a little bit better. That's just my preference, though. Spooter. I got a comment from Spooter. I think it's just Spooter. I'm a Giants fan, and I want to know, what's your opinion on Eli? Alright, so I kind of like this question too, because, I'm an Eagles fan. I'm an Eagles fan asking me about Eli Manning. I like Eli Manning, honestly. I'll mention this. All the stuff that happened this season, absolutely not his fault. They just did him really dirty with benching him. The streak, he doesn't care about the streak. I understand that, about his starting streak. That wasn't what was it for him. It was just the fact that he's getting blamed for stuff that's not his fault. He's getting blamed for, having a bad receiving core. It's not your fault that your receivers got hurt. Having a defense that does not respect your coach, and just having a horrible head coach in general. Obviously, they fired McAdoo, and their general manager, I think, got fired too, because he was a really bad general manager. He could not draft well at all. And that's another thing. Eli Manning, I respect Eli Manning, because he's had to go through horrible drafts, really bad, consistent, really bad O-lines the past like 5 years. He has not been able to have a very good, I mean, obviously he's had Odell. That was like the best player they've drafted in a long time, which is, you know, that would probably be most teams' best player if they drafted Odell. You know, he was a really good talent, but like, they've only recently had a really solid defense. You know, this last year they had an amazing defense, and then because they actually built up in free agency actually pretty smartly with that one. But yeah, Eli, I like Eli, but also there's times where Eli makes really bad decisions, and he throws really, really crucial interceptions that should not have been thrown. But also on the flip side of that, he's also thrown interceptions where it's not his fault. It's definitely not his fault. The ball gets tipped up, the line doesn't hold. I like Eli. I do. I respect him. He's a solid quarterback. He's very good in the postseason and in clutch scenarios when he needs to be. But you know, he's obviously not my favorite quarterback. You know, something like that, because I am an Eagles fan. I think that might be all of the questions for this one. Yeah, those are all the questions I am going to answer in this one, ending with a banger with Eli Manning. So yeah, thank you guys very much for all these questions. I got like 50 something questions. I didn't answer all of them in this one because I will go back and answer all the ones that I didn't answer if I can, because there's a couple in there. Like, some people just asked me like what my age is, what XP sliders do I use. I guess I can answer this one from Maximilian as well. I was going to use Bengals because, well, but then I thought they were a little high, honestly, so I just adjusted them a little bit. I think I put everything to 160 in this video, in this Rams video. So those are the XP sliders I'll probably go with because I kind of like the experience in this one. So just everything at 160. Pretty simple question there. But anyway, thank you guys very much for asking all these questions. Thank you guys for 1,000 subscribers again. I hope you were able to enjoy my first Q&A video. I've been recording for like 26 minutes now. Hopefully that's not too long for you guys. But anyway, yes. Again, thank you guys. I can't thank you enough for 1,000 subscribers. I can't thank Bangle enough. His link will be in the description, even though you guys all know who he is. But yeah, thank you guys once again for... I keep thinking. I'm sorry. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will talk to you guys soon.